Yo to the motherfucking yo. We are in this thing. Welcome to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. Thank you for joining us. We like to put out that content for y'all. I know it's late Saturday night, but we about to gamble for y'all, and we about to help y'all make some money for this Sunday. I know some of y'all, when you're listening, you might be on your way to church. Or while you're on your way to church, go ahead and gamble, just like the Lord says. So, I got the same crew with me. I got the Craft Man with me. What's going on, Craft Man?
What up? What up? We're ready to gamble. We're
ready to gamble. It's a little bit late, but I'm glad the Craft Man is with me. See Swizzy. It's a little bit late for him. His old lady's birthday was yesterday. Got a gender reveal tomorrow. But the C Swizzy he joined with us. So what's going on, C Swizzy?
What up? What up? Stoned as shit.
He's stoned. I'm drunk. Craft, what are you, sober?
Absolutely not. It's the weekend. It's hot chocolate on the weekdays and alcohol on weekends. That's the rule.
Hell yeah, man. And since we gambling tonight, there's only one man we could put on here to help you lose your money, and that's the poor man. So we got the poor man, P. Miller. What's going on, P?
Yeah. Nothing much. Just crack me a fresh beer, a nice whole Pilsner. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we on here tonight. We got nothing but wins for tonight. So,
amen, man. Amen.
Y'all that 50-cent bet.
And listen, man, that exactly. Phil's the one with the 50-cent bets and the nickel bets and the dime bets. I won't give you no more than $1 and a $2. I'll give you $1 and a $2. The Craft Man, he's over there talking about putting $1,000 on a bet. Me and poor man's looking at him sideways and shit. So, but yeah, man, I'm just playing with you. Tonight we got a few things for you. It's Saturday night. It's gonna be Sunday morning, so the college is out the door. And I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, I had a bad day at college, pissing me the fuck off. But I've had an okay day with the fights. I know some of y'all don't do the fights, so it is what it is. But we got a lot of football for y'all, man. Football starts at 1, so please listen to the podcast. If you want to make some money, listen to us. We got your FanDuel. I think the Craft even put a FanDuel. I know he had been doing DraftKings, right? Craft, you've been doing FanDuel, right?
Yeah, I used to do FanDuel for my main thing, but then I switched to DraftKings last year because I thought them motherfuckers were cheating me. But yeah, it's just they weren't cheating me. It's just gambling. You lose 50% of the time, you win 50% of the time. That's how gambling goes.
So we all got some DFS lineups. That's how we've been starting, and that's how we're gonna start tonight. There's the 4 of us on. This is the main crew of the podcast. So we got the Craft Man, C Swizzy, we got P Miller, and we're gonna give you some FanDuel lineups. And FanDuel, if you out there, you might as well sponsor our ass, because we rolling with you. But with that said, I didn't mind Craft if you went with DraftKings, because then we covered all of them, you know. But we rolling FanDuel, and I'm gonna pull up my FanDuel lineup. We're gonna break it down by position. We're gonna go position. Real quick before we go position, Craft, I'm gonna let you know my strategy, and then everybody else can say your strategy real quick. This time, my strategy, I switched it up different. Because first of all, my strategy is listen to the poor man and listen to the Craft Man. I don't know how Swizzy feels about this, but if you don't listen to my lineup as much as you listen to the Craft Man or the poor man, because they do way better at this shit. So, my strategy this go round was I spent a lot more money on the running backs than I did the wide receivers this go round. I was like, I'm going running backs. I obviously do the strategy that the Craft Man or the poor man say, and I say you got to hit on your tight ends and you got to hit on your defenses. So I tried my best on that. But Craft Man, this is how I went. I went running back. So that's the strategy I went with. Craft Man, what was the strategy that you went with this go round?
Yeah, my strategy, it changes week to week. Like we said about all the redraft and everything, you just got to pick the right players. It doesn't matter what kind of strategy you go with. The only thing that I always prefer to do is to pick, and I know Matt and Phil hit on this, I pick a defense and a tight end first. I usually go pretty low on that. And then I pick the rest of my lineup, and if I got money to spend at the end, I'll upgrade. But there's several occasions where I went Travis Kelce in my tight end spot or something like that. It's week to week. So, and another strategy I try to take is hit these high over under games. I try to pick a lot of players from these high over under games. Chris, you got any output on that?
Yeah, mine is mostly like matchup based and just high ceiling plays. And younger players. I didn't go out here and throw the bank at people. My lineup's not going to be like real spectacular, but I mean it could put up a lot of points.
Yeah. What you think? What you think, Phil? What you got?
I always just kind of first things first. I go try to get a defense. Like, who's gonna have like the best game on defense? Like, I don't care to even get the best one out there, the most expensive, because they really ain't all that expensive. But I just look for matchup, basically. Who's gonna have the best matchup. Then I go up to tight end. Just try to get a super cheap tight end who might have a touchdown or two. It's kind of like a guessing game if you want to go really cheap with them. And then I go quarterback, and I usually go quarterback pretty cheap too. So, defense, tight end, and quarterback. If you can go cheap there, you can get you a little bit better players as far as like running backs and wide receivers go. So that's pretty much how I roll on here. So.
Yep. I'm with y'all, man. I'm with Phil. I like to go cheap on the quarterback too. So I'll just go ahead. We'll just go through our quarterbacks. My first quarterback, I tried to go as cheap as I can with the most comfortable I could. I went Jared Goff. I've been picking all week that Jared Goff and the Jags and the Lions, they about to go over on the 51.5 or whatever it was, 51.5, something like that. So I rolled with Jared Goff. I'm not saying he's the best, but he was the cheapest in a high-scoring game. So I was like, yo, this dude could get a couple. I mean, who knows? Maybe he hands the ball off 4 times to Jamal Williams at the 1, and I'll be pissed the fuck off. But I'm thinking, who knows? This dude might get a few touchdowns, might hit Amon-Ra. Jameson Williams coming back for his first game, maybe. Or at least, is it this week he's doing that? Well, it don't matter. I'm still going Jared Goff no matter what. Kraft, what you think about it? And what's your quarterback?
I think it's a fucking great pick. You know why? Because surprise my eyes, hypnotize. I got fucking Jared Goff as my quarterback. Everything you just said, high over under, and that's all I got to say. Everything that Matt said applies to me. On to Chris, what you got?
And we're going to stick to that same game because I took the quarterback on the other side of the ball. I picked up T-Law in this game because of the 51.5 over under. I'm expecting to be some points in this game.
Right. P-Man, where you at?
Yep, I like y'all's way of thinking there, but not for me. I went with your boy, my cousin, Mike White. The Jets going against Minnesota, bro. So let's go, Mikey Whitey. Let's go.
Man, fucking love it. I'm with you, Phil.
This man was cheap. He was cheap. He was 6,900 for a QB. So I'm fine with that.
And by the way, before I keep going, I know we said this earlier. We're using FanDuel. It looks like all 4 of us are using FanDuel. If you're using the other one, DraftKings, at least just hear who we picking. At least I know they got a little bit of a different format. But yeah, Phil went with his cuz, and he went with Mike White, with old Mike White, and And I'm with you because I kind of went along with that a little bit. We'll get on to that a little bit later on, but it's like I said, at running back, I went a little bit different. So my next player at running back, I went with Austin Eckler, and I didn't really care what the matchup was, but the matchup was he's going against the 28th defense versus running backs. So Austin Eckler versus Las Vegas. This dude's a badass anyway, so I was like, I'm changing up my strategy anyways. Austin Eckler's the guy. What you say, Kraft?
Yeah, obviously I tried to get Austin Eckler in my lineup, but I couldn't afford the receivers that I wanted. So at running back, I went with David Montgomery against Green Bay. Green Bay's 25th ranked against running backs. Khalil Herbert's out. Justin Fields is back. You can take that as a win or a loss. A lot of experts will say that having Justin Fields on the field hurts running backs, but I think this game is going to have some points scored in it. Green Bay put up upwards of 30 against Philadelphia last week. Green Bay's defense, they gave up 100 rushing yards to the quarterback in the first quarter against Philly. I know I'm talking about running backs here, but they can't stop the run no matter what. So I went with David Montgomery as a cheaper running back. He was how much was Eckler for you, Matt? Because Montgomery was 7,000 for me.
Yeah, Eckler was 9,200 for me, and that's way higher than what I'm used to doing. But I wanted to switch up the strategy. I'm not as successful as the craft man or the poor man, so I was like, I'm gonna change up my strategy. So I went high on the so 9,200 wasn't the most expensive running back. Can't remember who was at the top, but
Chubb against Houston.
Chubb. And deep down, I wanted to go Chubb, but he just cost so much. I was like, whew, man.
Me too. What you got, Chris?
All right, at running back, I went at my running back was 8,100. I went with Kenneth Walker versus the Rams without Aaron Donald. I mean, This defense, the offense is so bad that the defense is going to be on the field most of the game. I think they're just going to run the fuck out of the ball because I expect the Seahawks to just destroy this sorry-ass team.
Yep. Poor man, where you at? Where you stand? Where's your top running back?
I had Kraft had. I got David Montgomery going against Green Bay for the same reasons. Green Bay just not very good against the run. And I like Montgomery. I think he's going to do pretty good. And he was my first running back I got. He was a little bit cheaper, so I went with him.
Yep, I'm with you. I mean, I don't disagree with it. I've been saying David Montgomery is the possible league winner all year. I know it's a gambler episode, so it's a little bit different format, but I'm with you. So the next one, my next running back, it's like I said, I went a little more expensive at the running back position. It's like Chris just said. I went with Kenneth Walker too. So I got Eckler. I went with Kenneth Walker. I went a little cheaper at the wide receiver spot, but I was like, Seattle, they're going to be playing the Rams. They're going to be beating these guys. Aaron Donald's out. They're just going to run the ball. I think Kenneth Walker's going to get a lot of work this week. So that's how I felt about it. Kenneth Walker felt like I felt like Kenneth Walker was a safe pick this week. I know the Rams, they got a good ranking. They're like 10th versus running backs. I don't buy into that, and especially with Aaron Donald out. So, Kraft, what you say?
Yeah, for sure. Kenneth Walker's a good pick this week. Aaron Donald is the main reason right there. You can look at the rankings of where the Rams are against running backs, and they look pretty good, but Aaron Donald's half of that. So, and you're expecting a game where they're going to be up. Seattle's going to be up. They're going to run the ball. So I would love to have him, but I went with on the other side of the ball is David Montgomery. I went with Aaron Jones. 7,400. Last time Aaron Jones played Chicago, 15 rushing attempts for 132 yards and a touchdown, plus a receiving touchdown, 30 fantasy points. Aaron Jones is off of the injury report. I think he's going to tear up Chicago. So, like I said before, I think this game is going to be one of the higher scoring games of the weekend. So that's where I went.
Chris,
What do you
man, where
think,
you
Chris?
at with your second RB?
My second RB, I threw in Najee Harris against the Falcons. Saw that he was going to play
Yeah.
and slid his ass right in there. 'Cause I think
Man,
he's got a good matchup.
Chris, I'm with you, man. You throw in Najee. I've been down on Najee all year, but you get a good matchup. I know I feel like he's a little banged up, but if they give Najee the work, throw him against the Falcons, you can't go wrong with that. Pete, poor man, where you at?
I'm same as Kraft again. I got Aaron Jones for Green Bay. I'm with you, Kraft. I think this is definitely going to be one of the higher scoring games of the week, and these running backs are going to be part of that reason why. So, yeah, I got Aaron Jones too.
Yeah, look, fellas, while the poor man and the Kraft man, while they said Aaron Jones, I have Aaron Jones too, but I got him in my flex spot. So I was like, because I already know Chicago's
I have
defense is
Aaron
shit.
Jones in the flex spot too.
So we all got Aaron Jones. So that's consensus right there. Yep, I'm with you, man. I'll just move on to my wide receiver, and we ain't even got to talk about my flex spot because so far I got Jared Goff, Eckler, Kenneth Walker, and I got Aaron Jones in my flex. I got Zay Jones going against Detroit. I was picking them, and listen, sometimes I like to go against the hot hand, but I figured Detroit, their defense is ass. I'm not gonna sit here and try to act like their defense is good. Zay Jones has been a hot target for T-Law for the Jags, and me and Chris and Crabman, we all done said it. That we all expect this game to be a high scoring game. So Zay Jones, he's been the guy. I'm gonna roll with Zay Jones on this one. What you say, Crabman?
Yeah, I was trying to get one of them Jaguars guys, but I'm gonna stay in that same matchup right here. With my wide receiver one, I went with Amon Ra at 8,000, playing Jacksonville. He was a little banged up for a little while, but in the last 3 games he put up 23. This is in FanDuel scoring, and I'm pretty sure FanDuel is half point. Put up 23.4, 11, and 17 in the last 3 weeks, so he's getting hot. I want a piece of that matchup, so Amon Ra in my lineup, wide receiver one. What you thinking about, Chris? What you got?
You're going to like this pick. I'm rolling with it. He's broken out. This guy's got 6 touchdowns over like the last 3 games. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm going with a Christian Watson against the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
I like it.
I think he's going to go out here and continue it.
Yep. I agree.
Yep, I like it too. And before the poor man goes, I went with Christian Watson on one of my wide receiver spots. So poor man, go ahead and roll with it, P.
Same here. I got Christian Watson, one of my wide receiver spots as well. And yeah, he's been hot. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I went with him. Like what? That's the wide receiver I'd want. That's the running back I want. From that team. So rolling with both of them players from Green Bay this week.
Yep. I'm with the poor man on that. And look, fellas, let's just go ahead and give both our wide receivers. We got 2 wide receiver spots right here. I went Garrett Wilson with old Mike White, and he's got a good matchup versus Minnesota. Minnesota's secondary really ain't been all that. And then I went Christian Watson, just like Chris did. Christian Watson is the guy. It's funny how we got so much similar shit in here.
Hey, you about to laugh even harder.
You got Garrett Wilson, Chris? Go ahead and say it.
Well, I got Garrett Wilson and Zay Jones. Zay Jones rounding out my double stack with the Trevor Lawrence, and Garrett Wilson on the matchup with Mike White slinging him the rock.
So yeah, we all on the same boat, Craftman. Where do you stand?
So my 3 receivers, the one was Amon Ra, which I speak earlier, and the second one, holy shit, what did he do here? He went Christian Watson. The second receiver, and then with my third receiver, I went with Devontae Adams against the Chargers.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I paid up. I paid up for receivers this week. Amon Ra, Watson, and Adams.
Okay, I'm with the Craftman on that. He actually paid up for a wide receiver where I went running back. I paid up on the running back spot. Poor man, what you got on these wide receiver spots?
All right, so I had Christian Watson, and I also got Garrett Wilson for the Jets, and then my last one is I got Christian Kirk going up against Detroit. He was my most expensive one.
Yeah,
at 7,500. So,
and I like Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk's been a guy that I've been high on all year. So I'll just round it off because I said Aaron Jones was my flex all year. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get my tight end and my defense because I learned this from the craft man and the poor man. I learned this from both of these guys. If you can hit on the tight end, you can hit on the defense, you can win on these things. So my thing was I went with Hayden Hurst at the tight end spot. Simply just because I think Kansas City and Cincinnati is going to have a lot of high scoring. And who knows, maybe Hayden Hurst can catch a touchdown, maybe two, maybe a few passes out there. Then at defensive spot, I went with Denver over Baltimore. I went with the Denver defense. I tried to go with the cheapest defense I could that I felt comfortable with, and we've been picking under on a lot of these. I know we'll get to it a little bit later, but I feel like we all feel comfortable with the under with Denver and Baltimore. So I was like, Denver's going to be all right. Denver's got a good defense. I like Baltimore and I like Lamar Jackson, but he ain't got no weapons. Mark Andrews, I feel like, is a little banged up, but our running back room and that wide receiver room, that ain't shit for Lamar. So I feel like Detroit's defense, they're going to be fine. What you say, Kraft, man?
Yeah, I always try to find the best deal at defense too. But before we go on to me, Matt, what's your just tell us your full lineup from top to bottom, right quick.
All right, my lineup from top to bottom on the FanDuel, we go Jared Goff at quarterback, Austin Eckler, Kenneth Walker as my running backs. Austin Eckler versus Las Vegas, Kenneth Walker versus the Rams, and then at my wide receiver, my three spots, I went Zay Jones, Garrett Wilson, and Christian Watson. A lot of young guys. Zay Jones ain't really that young, but he's been hot with Trevor Lawrence. At tight end, I went Hayden Hurst because you're trying to hit at the tight end spot, so I went with a tight end I feel like it's going to be high on the over-under. I feel like Kansas City and Cincinnati is going to go high. And then Aaron Jones at my flex because Aaron Jones versus that Chicago D, to me, that's a no-brainer. That's like all day. Then my defense, I went Denver with Baltimore, and it was because it was the cheapest defense that I felt comfortable with, and Baltimore don't have no weapons. So that's how I felt about that. And Denver's got a good defense. Don't get me wrong. Denver's got a good D. So that was my defense from top to bottom. What you say?
Yeah, that lineup's it's pretty damn stacked. But the way I go here, I left off at Devontae Adams. At tight end, I went Evan Ingram against Detroit. You know, I'm always trying to get a piece of that over and under. I feel like he might do a little something this week. At my flex spot, I don't think Debo's going to play, so I went with Brandon Ayuk, 6,700. And in my defense, I went with Washington Commanders playing the Giants this week. The last three games, they've scored 7, 19, and 15. 7 against Atlanta, 19 against Houston, and 15 against Philly. I feel like this defense is getting hot. And when I look at the Giants' offense, they don't really scare me that much. So my full lineup right here at quarterback, Jared Goff got the stack with Amon-Ra, which I'm playing in a tournament. You need a stack instead of a double up. So went with Jared Goff, David Montgomery, Aaron Jones, Amon-Ra, Christian Watson, Devontae Adams against the Chargers, Evan Ingram, Brandon Ayuk, and the Commanders' defense.
Yep, I hear you. Chris, go ahead with yours.
So my flex, I had Aaron Jones as well. My tight end, I went high ceiling but low floor. Justin Fields is going to play. Darnell Mooney's out for the season. I slid Komet in for 5,000 this game. They threw Chase Claypool caught 2 balls the other day. This dude's supposed to be the number 1 receiver with Darnell Mooney going. I don't buy into that. Justin Fields has thrown it to Komet a good bit when he likes to scramble. I think Montgomery's going to be. I mean, Green Bay. They just let Jalen Hurts rush for 102 yards in the first quarter the other day, so people are going to be getting around. I think he's going to get some shots, and Komet may have that touchdown upside. At the defense, I went relatively cheap enough, but have a good matchup. The Seahawks against the Rams is what I went with this. I think Tariq Woolen and all of them are going to just. This might be the highest scoring defense for me this week, just because this Rams offense is awful. It's terrible.
Right.
So my lineup, top to bottom, I got Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, and a stack with Zay Jones playing in that high over under Detroit game. I got Kenneth Walker versus the Rams without Aaron Donald. Najee versus Atlanta. My wide receivers are Christian Watson and Garrett Wilson. Christian Watson playing Chicago's defense. Garrett Wilson's actually got a competent quarterback now. Komet rounding it out, and Aaron Jones against the Chicago Bears and the Seahawks defense.
I like that.
Yep, I agree. I like that. That was a good ass lineup. Poor man, go ahead and round us off on yours.
I kept going back and forth on my tight end position. I think I'm gonna roll with old Gesicki. They're playing San Fran. That's gonna be a tough matchup. I feel like they might have to rely on passing it to old Gesicki a little bit in that game. We're gonna see. I keep flipping that tight end around, but that's what I got right now. My flex, I got Derrick Henry. He playing against Philly this week. Philly cannot stop the run either, from what I've noticed. And the Titans are gonna run that ball, so I'm rolling with Derrick Henry. Think he's gonna have a big game. I think I'm looking for Tennessee to pull the upset there, or at least cover the spread. And then to round it out, my defense, I got Baltimore Ravens going against Denver, who is just garbage, and they're playing at home, so Baltimore should. I feel like their defense is going to be pretty good, so I'll go down my list. So QB, I got Mike White, my boy, and then I stacked it up with Garrett Wilson. He's been playing good, so look for those two to have a good game. Then I went David Montgomery and Aaron Jones in that game. My other two receivers, Christian Watson and Christian Kirk. Gesicki, my boy Derrick Henry, and the Baltimore Ravens for this week. That's my lineup. So,
all right. I say, man, that's rounds it off for our DFS lineups. We went really in deep with our DFS lineups this week. And we all do FanDuel this week. Craftman usually does DraftKings, right? But this week went FanDuel, because that's what me and the poor man use. We use that shit. We was like, hey, get on over here, get your ass on over to the west side, and you're gonna use this one. But honestly, either way, I don't really care, because I like that we covered all of them. But it's however you want to do it. What you say, Craftman?
Yeah, I like how we're all on the same little sports book.
Same page.
Yeah, all on the same page. We can give the people what they need. Just shift over to FanDuel. That's where my money's at right now, so that's where I'm staying.
All right, well, shit, man. I know. I got the poor man with me, the craft man, and Swizzy with me. We're gonna go through a little bit, 5 of our spreads of the games of the NFL games this week. I'm getting it out to you in the middle of the night. I'm gonna edit it up. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Drunk as hell, sitting here passed out on the podcast right now on the Discord, but I'm gonna make it happen as it is. Cause I do it for the pod, man. I do it for y'all, man. I do it for y'all. So I got 5 spreads. A lot of us got some spreads that we gonna pick for the Sunday slate, and maybe a Monday night game if it's on the slate, if we felt comfortable with it. But our consensus lock, the Cruise Dynasty podcast lock, Craft man, what did we roll with?
We went with the Broncos versus the Ravens. We all four of us, we all sent a group text to each other, not knowing what each other's picks were, and every single one of us chose the under on the Broncos versus Ravens at 39.5. I guess we all think that the Ravens ain't been scoring. The Broncos sure as hell ain't been scoring no points. So, I feel like we're all pretty comfortable with going on the under on that one.
Yeah, look, crap, man. Before we move on to our bets or whatever, I've been hitting on the Broncos on under all year. I've been hitting on Chicago on under for like half the year, but then they started stepping it up. They rolling with it. The Broncos, I've been hitting it on all year. Last week, I deviated from it and was like, Denver's gonna beat the Panthers, and I lost. So I was like, well, fuck it. I'm gonna go back to where I stand. Denver on the under for the consensus lock. That seems to be what we agree with. Everybody, if you want to make your money, that's your pay your mortgage cruise dynasty lock right there. You guarantee if you want to make some money, throw $1,000 on your under. Baltimore, Denver on the under at what is it? 39.5. Crap, is that right? Or is it lower than that?
39.5.
39.5. That seems safe to me. So, because Russell Wilson, I don't care what the defense out there. If he's out there talking about it's Russell Wilson time and shit, you ain't making no money. He ain't scoring, and he ain't got no weapons anyway. So fuck Russell Wilson. So you're gonna make some money. Well, look, real quick, man. I know I got everybody on. I'm gonna go give y'all my five games that I got other than the consensus lock, and I'm gonna let y'all go. I got Miami +4 versus San Francisco. I got Kansas City versus Cincinnati. I got the over at 53. Jacksonville versus Detroit. I got the over at 51.5. Houston versus Cleveland. I got Cleveland -7 and Deshaun Watson's return. That's more of Houston being shit. Y'all ain't nothing. I could see this. That was a little more risky for me. I could see Houston putting up a game, wanting to stick it to Deshaun Watson. I can see that. But -7, Cleveland, and then I went Tennessee +4.5 versus Philly. And at the beginning of the year, I loved watching Philly. But I'm gonna be honest, Philly has struggled with some of these teams lately. Man, let old Derrick Henry run the ball a few times, and let's see if they can cover that 4.5. That's how I felt about it. So, Crap Man, what'd you say?
Yeah, I definitely agree with the Philly take. Philly, like we said and like Phil said in the DFS segment, Derrick Henry's going to run the ball a lot, and the way to keep Philly off the field is to be able to just pound the rock like Washington did, control time of possession, and that's going to keep the game very close. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Tennessee just wins this game outright, but I wouldn't bet on that. But I like your bet with the Philly matchup right here. But my 5 matchups that I got outside of the Broncos and Ravens is I got the Seahawks versus the Rams. I took the under on that one. Shit, the Rams ain't going to score over 17 points in this game. I mean, with their offense being as terrible as they are, Seahawks would have to put up, a good amount of points, 24 points or so to get over that over-under. I like the under for that one. I like the Chiefs. They're favored by 2.5 over the Bengals. I think they're going to beat the Bengals by more than a field goal. So I went ahead and went with that one. I took the Chargers money line over the Raiders. That one game was pretty much a pick 'em. I think the Raiders are favored by 1 in that one. So I just picked the Chargers to win that one outright. I got the Browns versus the Texans. I took the under at 46.5. Deshaun Watson coming back. I don't know if he's going to be able to put up no points, and we all know the Texans can't. And like we talked about on all our FanDuels, Packers versus the Bears. I took the over on that game at 44.5. I think that one's going to be a higher scoring game. What do you think about that, Phil?
A couple of the same. same as you there. I'll just roll down my list. I got the Jets. New York Jets +3 at Minnesota. I'm looking for upset there as well. And then I got Tennessee Titans +4.5 against Philly. Definitely looking for Titans to cover that. And then I got the over in the Packers and Bears game, just like you did, Kraft, at 44.5. And I had the over in the Kansas City Bengals game too. Kansas City at Cincinnati. I mean, 52.5. I think that's going to be a pretty high scoring game. Then I went with the under of the Cleveland at Houston. You know, I think Deshaun Watson going to be a little rusty. Houston ain't going to score much of anything, so low scoring game. That's my 5. What y'all think about that?
Yep. I'm with you, man. That sounds good. Sounds good. Oh, man. See, Swizzy, man. What you got for us, big dog?
All right, my 5 matchups other than our consensus lock. I took Seattle at -7 versus the Rams. I think that Seattle is definitely going to win this game by more than a score and an extra point. My second one, Dallas versus Indy. I'm taking the under in this game. It's at the under 44.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to manage this clock in this game. I think Matt Ryan's going to be running for his life. I think it's going to come down to if they beat the over, I think Dallas is going to beat the over just by themselves. I took Las Vegas -1 versus the Chargers. They can't stop the run. What the fuck? I know their defense is terrible too, but Josh Jacobs has been on a tear, and I think he's going to eat that defense up. Then I got Detroit +1 at Jacksonville. I think Detroit might win this game. They almost went out there and beat the Bills the other day when this offense is clicking. So I'm taking them in that. And then my last one is KC versus Cincinnati, over 53 points. I'm definitely expecting them to put up some points in this game.
Yep. I'm with you. I agree, man. It sounds like we all got some of the similar things, and then we all got our consensus lock, which is Baltimore and who are they playing? Denver, sorry ass, bitch ass with Russell Wilson's bitch ass. So man, me and Chris, we've been roasting Russell Wilson. I don't know if it was the last podcast or this podcast. His ass, man. Every podcast. I'm mad. It's crazy, man. I in 1 year I've just done a whole 180 on Russell Wilson, man. I went from thinking, oh, the media hates his ass, like they just dissing him, to like, damn, this dude is fucking nuts. This dude is crazy, man. So, yeah, man, because I mean, only Russell Wilson could fuck up in Denver with that defense and those weapons. So, help. I mean, anything else? Kraft, man, you got any prop bets for us? I didn't do any prop bets this Sunday. Do you got any prop bets for us?
Yeah, I did a prop bet on Prize Picks. I got I want to hear what y'all got to say about this, but I got Nick Chubb over 94.5 rushing yards against Houston. I got Christian Kirk over 60.5 receiving yards against Detroit. Christian Watson over 47.5 receiving yards against Chicago. Travis Kelce over 80.5 receiving yards against Cincinnati. And Justin Jefferson over 6 receptions against the Jets. And that's my 5. If I hit all 5 of them, I get 10 times my money. If I hit 4 out of 5, I double my money, and anything under that's a loss. So hopefully I can at least hit 4 out of 5, if not 5 out of 5 on that one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Kraft, I'm with you. I think the only one to me, all those sound good. The only one to me, iffy slightly, is Justice Jefferson. Maybe getting those receptions, because the only reason is because I have a respect for the Jets defense. Those guys are out there locking dudes up. Kirk Cousins, like, I like Kirk Cousins as much as the next guy, but he ain't all that. So it's like, it is what it is. So yeah, that would be the only one I'm iffy on. But yeah, I'm with you, Kraft. What you got to say?
Shit, I love when we get them matchups like everybody talks about Sauce Gardner or whatever. Right. I just hope they match up 1-on-1 with Justin Jefferson because he will get that 6 receptions on that guy. That's what I'm hoping for is that they believe that the Jets believe that Sauce can guard Justin Jefferson. That was my main. That's right. That's the reason I chose that one. But they might have a different game plan against them.
Right. Is that everybody? Is that everybody with their prop bets? Anybody else got to throw some gambling to help the people make some money out there? Poor man, you got anything out there for the people?
Man, yeah, I got a prop bet for y'all.
Go for it.
Man, y'all can kiss my left nut, make my right nut jealous. That's the only prop bet I got for y'all, man. So
shout out to Uncle Steve. The crab man and Chris looking at me and feel like, what the hell? Yeah, shout out to Uncle Steve. Kiss our left nut, make our right nut jealous.
All you had to say was Uncle Steve, and I knew exactly what you mean.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, P. Put it out there for us.
Yeah, that was all for real. I don't got no prop bets. So.
But look, man, go win you some money, man. The Craft Man just helped you put out some prop bets. We put out a DFS lineups. We gave you a consensus lock. We gave you some R lines. If there's anything out there, anything to help you make your money, Chris, you got anything to help these people make some money, or are you good?
Yeah, I got a little parlay.
Go for it.
So the first bet, I took Cleveland -7 versus Houston. I feel like that's definitely gonna be like they definitely gonna win that game by more than a touchdown. You would hope. Dallas versus Indy. I just took the money line for Dallas. Just take the free win in the parlay. Know you gonna get that one. Las Vegas versus LA. I took the under at 49.5 in this parlay. Denver versus Baltimore. The consensus lock. I took the under. Seattle -7 versus the Rams. I took Philly versus Tennessee, but I took the money line on Philly. I think that Tennessee can run all over Philly what they want to, but I think they're going to have a trouble stopping Jalen Hurts in this offense. Then I took Detroit versus Jacksonville, the over 51. And then Kansas City versus Cincinnati over at 53. A $10 bet would win you $424 on Barstool.
Hey, man. I'm with these parlays, man. Like, I quit doing parlays because I just lost so motherfucking much. I was like, whatever. I'll just go straight bets all the time. So for 2 years, I've been going straight bets. And I do me a parlay on the fights, but I just can't do it on football. But yeah, man, that about do it. Thanks for listening to the podcast. This is our gambling episode. Honestly, I love doing the gambling episode. I like doing the matchups episode, and I love doing the gambling episodes. I like doing them all. Fuck it. I like recapping it too. Fuck it. So, thanks for listening to the podcast. We are the Cruise Dynasty Podcast. Join the Discord. Interact with me, the Craft Man, C Swizzy, and the Poor Man. We'll try to get at you. Shout us out on Twitter. We like to gamble. We'll put our bets out on gambling and shit. So, the Craft Man, what you got to say to these people?
Yeah, we just appreciate all y'all for listening. As always, we always appreciate everybody that gets on there and listens to our dumbasses speak. We try to give y'all the content and just love getting on here with old Matt, Chris, Phil, and Craig, man. Craig the bear. He's a Justin Fields supporter. He's a Chicago Bears supporter. He does what he does over there. But just appreciate everybody for getting on there. Chris, what you got to say to the folks, man?
Appreciate if you listen. Get on this Discord. Let's get active. Like I said, this is just the first year. It's only going to go up from here.
Right. And thanks for listening, man. I know we got a little solid core out there that actually listens to us from a week-to-week basis, and I just want to say thank y'all. But share the podcast, share it to a friend, share it to a friend, share it for a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a hoe. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, man, join the Discord. Add me on Twitter. It's all in the description. Add the podcast Twitter. What else is there? Heck, we just going up from here, man. That's all it is, man. The Discord is just one step. We doing more things. We got more things coming from us. So thanks for listening to us. And here's one thing, man. I know some of y'all are like, fuck the experts. Y'all don't like listening to the experts. Well, don't listen to the experts. Listen to your homies, because we sitting right here. We doing this shit for real. Me and the Crabman and Chris, we ain't sitting here claiming we experts, although we are. But we ain't gonna claim we are. We just your peers. So, thanks for listening. But yeah, man, that just about sums it on up, man. I'm gonna just say we out.
Peace.